You could be wiser as an educated advisor. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, Your Family Bank, part 1 in our series on the top 5 insurance strategies for consumers with Randy Pierson. So let's get down to business. Well, welcome to the show, Randy.
Hey, Steve. How you doing today?
Randy, you are I'm doing fine, and you're one of the quintessential marketeers in our business. You've been around forever. Don't mean to clock your age there. But really, I mean, we're always trying to get in front of consumers. If you watch my Twitter account, those are the things that the consumer responds to. I'm always surprised. I thought he would respond to that, but no, they respond to this.
Yeah.
We've chosen 5 subject matters that we're going to unpack for this entire series, what the consumer is important to them.
Sure.
And the first one off the block is debt reduction. I mean, I'm sorry, Randy, I don't think there's anything bigger for the American citizen and maybe even some American taxpayers than getting out of debt. So let's walk through the first big idea, Your Family Bank, a kind of a morph or evolution from the infinite bank.
Sure. Yeah.
Concept.
Hey, debt reduction is an idea, a concept, a subject matter that most advisors don't address. Mm-hmm. Why? Because, frankly, they don't feel like there's any money in it for them. So, debt reduction is high on the consumer's mindset because everybody wants to be out of debt. And all you got to do is look at statistics, right? The typical divorce, number one reason is money and finances. And so the beauty of our program, Your Family Bank and debt reduction, is that it gets to the why, for the consumer, right? An integral why in their life, and that is, hey, if an advisor says I can show you how to get out of debt in 9 years or less, I want to talk to that guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, in your thinking, I mean, and I'm just trying to be the normal consumer that watches our consumer show. This is our advisor show, but watches our consumer show. Steve, I loved everything you talk about. I have no money. I'm in debt. I got student loan debt. I got credit card debt. I have a mortgage. I may even have other ancillary debts because I had to take care of mom and dad during their long-term care crisis, right?
Yeah.
So does this address a lot of these issues, short-term credit card, student loan, things of that nature? Does it address that kind of?
Yeah, look, I'm a firm believer, been in the business a long time, and the one truism that I found in working with clients across all socioeconomic strata, right, affluent to modest means, is that most people spend everything they bring in, right? But the reality is all consumers have some discretionary income that they could reallocate to a cause if it's important enough to them. And I would suggest that getting out of debt is critically important to most Americans.
Well, let me stop you there for a second. Randy, it is important. We give lip service to it. Let's just say that. Yeah. It's very hard to say, come January 1, everybody's gotten through the holiday spending. They're up to their neck in debt. And they have the heart to do it, but the willpower. But what Your Family Bank is, that's actually a track to run on, something pragmatic. Yeah. Talk about why this matters for a consumer who maybe doesn't have the will to do it.
Well, they need a guide, right? Everybody in financial services, it's really a sad state of affairs that 2/3 of Americans haven't met or worked with a financial advisor. Many of them probably because they don't feel like they have the financial means or a reason to speak with a financial advisor. Debt, everyone has debt, and everybody would like to get out of debt. So the consumer, once again, that why is ingrained in them. They would like to get out of debt. And the beauty for the advisor is 90% of America is a prospect for them, right? And imagine, if you will, if you're an advisor out there, the gratitude, the good feeling that would come from helping somebody achieve such a rudimentary financial goal, while, by the way, at the same time, making a nice commission.
This may be the first time you can actually go in front of an audience and not discount 1/3 of them because they don't have assets under management.
Exactly. And that's the beauty. When I talk to advisors that we've brought to this program, it's really amazing the emotion that comes out of some of them, right? After they've gone out to speak to consumers and they've built a clientele, helping them out of debt, the emotion that comes from it, right? It saves marriages, right? It saves relationships. It creates a comfort where they're not waking up every morning or going to bed every night stressed out because they don't feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? This oppressing debt. And for the advisor to have, as you said, a system that they could take out and sit down in front of consumers and say, we've got a roadmap that we can put you on that eventually, in a relatively short period of time, will get you completely 100% out of debt. I mean, there's nothing like it out there.
Okay, now in normal scenarios where an advisor is gathering assets. They're looking for assets to bring under management so that they can actually do a fee here. The advisor is actually getting paid, but the fee on how he's getting paid is not being saddled to the consumer or the policy owner. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Exactly. I mean, they're going to earn a commission from the insurance company. We utilize a guaranteed dividend-paying whole life insurance contract to fund this program because we're making promises to that consumer. We're promising them that in 9 months we're going to be able to pay off that Visa. In 15 months we'll be able to pay off that furniture loan. And so we can't use products that don't provide those guarantees because we don't want to come back in 9 months and not have the cash to meet that promise.
These guarantees are contractual, right? I mean, this is not just current company practice.
They are contractual. They are obligations made by carriers that are 100+ years old, strong financial companies that everyone has heard of before,
Randy, I know that because you've been playing a long time in our industry and, of course, with being a marketeer with Gordon Marketing, you have a boot camp for this, right? I mean, this is a 2-day take no prisoners immersion. Talk about that.
Well, look, once we've developed interest with an advisor, first we have to jump through some hoops. We've got to get them contracted and fill out some paperwork. But then we send them to a 2-day boot camp down in St. Augustine, Florida. A lot worse places to go if you want to go down for a boot camp. And although it's not physically arduous, it is mentally arduous because you learn a lot in those.
I'm sure you got a couple of these for wintertime, right?
Absolutely. We do them every month, 12 months out of the year. And but the beauty is at the end of that 2-day boot camp, they'll leave with a new perspective of the financial services industry, a new perspective of their position as an agent in our business. And it's amazing how many of them leave with a mission, right? Their mission is to take the word and spread that out to their existing clients and consumers. And as I said earlier, the great thing about this program is it addresses the why, right? I mean, if you say to a consumer, hey, if I could show you a way to get out of debt in 9 years or less, including your mortgage or student loans, would you like to sit down and have a conversation? Very few of those consumers are going to say, no, I'm not interested.
Now, you have ongoing support. Okay, they went to the boot camp.
Yeah.
They got excited. You actually have an escort where you have an escort program where you help handhold the first 3-4 cases, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
That you're walking them through it until they feel good enough to do this on their own.
Yeah, at Gordon Marketing, we've developed what we call a quick start program. But to a large degree, it's like a concierge a system of hand-holding that advisor through their first few weeks, couple months, whatever it takes to get them comfortable. And the beauty is that advisor can work with an experienced agent to help them sit down with the first few clients, to guide them through the process so that when they get to case 4, 5, or 6, they can feel like perhaps not an expert, but their comfort level is such that they can go through the entire process with a client from A to Z and help solve that problem, write the case, and in many instances make a client for life.
Now, I know that we've been centering a little bit on individual consumers, but you've went to business owners with this same premise. They all have debt. They have money going through their cash flow accounts every single month. What about that?
Yeah, the business owner market is frankly the most exciting market within the Your Family Bank environment. Why? Because business owners have larger cash flows. They've got bigger debts, and in many instances, they're much more highly motivated to alleviate that debt. Perhaps they're wanting to look at a succession plan. They want to sell their business at some point in time. The value of the business is greatly enhanced if they're debt-free. And you'll find getting them to write significant checks is a lot easier, right?
I think it's kind of inspirational when you tell the guy, hey, you're setting your business up to sell at retirement, and that business being debt-free is a big P&L statement to be had.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily an expense because we're designing these products to be very consumer or business friendly, i.e. they're very cash rich. We keep the death benefit as low as possible, try to keep the cost of insurance as little as possible. So it's an asset on their books that they can maintain for a long period of time.
By the way, shockingly, just to bring if we have some consumers watching the show, many banks have whole life contracts sitting on the asset side of their equation. And there's a reason for it. Guarantees, the returns are higher than some of the bonds that they're investing on the other side. It's interesting. If a bank is doing this, how much more should a consumer or a business owner do it?
Absolutely.
Well, don't forget to watch our next segment on addressing federal employee benefits, part 2 in our series on the top 5 insurance strategies for consumers with Randy Pierson. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, or your compliance officer. And don't forget, you can subscribe to my consumer show, Steve Savant's Money, the Name of the Game, daily content that you can post on your website, social media accounts, and database distribution. I'm Steve Savant. Thanks for watching.